Did you lock your doors tonight? Albany police say if you haven't, you should. We'll tell you about a new campaign to cut down on crime. As one Southwest Georgia teenager fights for his life tonight following a shooting, police announce an arrest in the case. But first, a SWAT standoff disrupts life in one Southwest Georgia town this afternoon. What investigators say led to it. Good evening and thank you for watching Fox 31 News at 10. I'm Greg Loyd. Victoria DeCardenas has the night off. Well, tonight, two suspects are in custody after a standoff with the SWAT team in Lenox. Our Tiffany Gray was there. And Tiffany, what are police saying is the reason behind that standoff?
Greg, police say they tried to serve felony warrants, but the suspect wouldn't answer the door. Now, earlier last month, the Cook County Sheriff's Office were contacted by the Berrien County Sheriff's Office with information regarding James May. Police say May was believed to have several stolen firearms. Police searched May's home on Emerald Lane in Hahira, Georgia on June 1st, which led them to 5 stolen guns and homemade suppressors. In the search, police also found a set of ballistic armor that were stolen from a Georgia State Patrol car in Tift County. May was arrested, but the investigation continued as evidence from the ballistic armor led police to Chase White. Police searched his home just days ago on Bobby Street in Lenox, finding additional stolen items from the Georgia State Patrol car. This morning, police attempted to serve warrants to White. However, he would not answer the door. When police entered the home, they noticed White had escaped. It wasn't until several hours and several search teams later that White was found in a wooded area outside Lenox city limits. Now, this investigation is still ongoing, and both suspects still face several charges. Reporting in the studio, I'm Tiffany Gray.
Tiffany, thank you for that. And 2 people are injured after a shooting on Avalon Avenue today. Jeremy Oliver and DeAndrea Hartsfield both received shots to their arms and legs. They were taken to the hospital for treatment. There are no suspects at this time. If you have any information, please call police. Investigators say a dangerous teen is on the run in Albany. Police say Vonquez Akins is wanted for kidnapping and other gang-related charges. Akins is said to be armed and dangerous. If you have any information, you're asked to call Albany Police. Tonight, an 8th person has been arrested in the 2016 murder of Curtis Davis Jr. Treshawn Palmer was taken into custody yesterday. Davis Jr. was killed in a drive-by shooting while on a porch on West Tift Avenue. The other 7 who have been arrested are facing murder and gang-related charges. One America's teen has been arrested for shooting another teenager who is now in critical condition. 17-year-old Jordan Hamilton is charged with reckless conduct relating to that shooting incident. Hamilton and several other teens were at a residence in the 900 block of Cypress Drive last night. According to the police, the teens were engaged in horseplay involving a handgun, and that's when the 16-year-old victim was shot. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation and America's Police are investigating. They say additional charges may be pending. 5 people are now behind bars after a series of arrests in Bainbridge. On Friday, police searched a home on Louise Street where they found several drugs and guns, including one that was stolen. That same day, they searched another home on Rush Street where they discovered drugs. Now, later that night, police conducted 2 separate traffic stops and found what they believed to be crystal meth. Both drivers were taken into custody. Then Saturday night, a traffic stop led officers to finding a stolen gun. That driver is now facing gun charges. Are your car doors locked right now? And are there any valuables inside your vehicle? Those are some of the questions the Albany Police Department wants to know. Albany Police, they've created a new initiative to make citizens more aware of their surroundings. With the increase in car break-ins this month, the Albany Police Department is taking matters into their own hands to ensure safety. Albany Police launched their 9 p.m. nightly reminder on Instagram to remind residents to remove their valuables from their vehicles, to lock their car doors, their house doors, turn on outside lights, and activate all alarms and security systems.
I just want to encourage everybody to take heed to the 9 p.m. routine. It's just a friendly reminder to just check your cars and partner with the Albany Police Department so we can decrease these entering autos.
To get involved, follow the Albany Police Department on Instagram and post that you have completed the 9 p.m. routine. by tagging with the hashtag APDLocked. A rise in violence in America that started during the pandemic, and now some kids and teenagers are caught up in this troubling cycle. Angela Brown has the details.
The pictures, the pain, and parents' tears. Deborah Wood's 16-year-old son, Elvin Hicks Jr., shot to death in Flint, Michigan.
I didn't even get to hold him at the hospital. I just want to hold my baby one more time. I want to hold him, but I can't.
It was a shootout, and a little girl is in the middle of the ground bleeding. She got shot.
14-year-old Ron Janae Smith killed in a mass shooting during an outdoor concert in North Charleston, South Carolina. Her dad will never see her smile again.
I know you can't question God, but I'm asking God, like, why? Why did this happen to her at a young age?
Gun violence surged last year, and America's kids got caught in the crossfire. In 2019, 991 kids under the age of 17 were killed, according to the Gun Violence Archive. In 2020, over 1,300. So far this year, 667. Advocates working to stop gun violence now concerned about the summer.
Some of us are going back outside for the first time in over a year and a half, advocating for jobs and looking for resources for cognitive behavioral therapy, and recognizing that retaliatory violence may actually uptick even more.
President Biden promised to invest in community-based violence intervention programs. Footman calls it a start, but far from a solution.
A multifaceted public health and equity approach, thinking about those long-term social determinants of health, which will take time to start to turn the tide there, but thinking about the intervention and preventions, but providing people access to jobs.
Advocates argue gun violence should be treated like a public health epidemic, with more resources dedicated to disrupt the endless cycle of violence in some communities. But no legislation will fix this problem overnight, leaving some parents to ask for more protection now.
It seems like they need more policemen to cover every area that they can.
See what your kids is doing or something. But this don't make sense that they doing it. It's happening every day in our city. People losing their kids.
In Washington, I'm Angela Brown.
We're turning our attention to weather, and we enjoyed yet another day of sunshine here in Southwest Georgia. Meteorologist Joe Spear standing by in the Weather Center this evening. And Joe, what can we look forward to for Friday?
Well, Greg, unfortunately, I think the sunny skies are going to come to a wrap for the end of the work week. Unfortunately, we might see a fair amount of rain come our way, but Albany State University right now holding on to that drier weather here with our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network. Temperatures sitting in the mid to lower 80s here right now. Winds out of the west-northwest at 3 miles per hour. A quick temperature check across the rest of the region of Southwest Georgia. A fair amount of us also still into the mid to lower 80s. Not many of us switching into the 70s here so far. Moultrie at 79, Thomasville at 75. Those seem to be the only two, other than Blakely at 75 as well, that are sitting into the 70s, but we're expecting to cool off around that temperature range in the next couple of minutes. Here's what we did today in terms of the almanac. 95 degrees, a little bit above average in terms of our daytime high. To start off today, we were at 71. That's also a fair amount above average. Precipitation, didn't see any of it today. Our May total still sitting a little under half of an inch. Here's what we're expecting for tomorrow. We're going to start off on the dry side, temperatures in the lower 70s, but thunderstorms and isolated chances of showers returning to the forecast by the time we hit closer to the afternoon hours. Temperatures once again getting back into the mid to lower 90s here for parts of Southwest Georgia. Here's what we'll be going over for the rest of this half hour. We saw the storm chances are returning, but how much longer will they stick around this whole time? Temperatures will be staying onto the hot side. We'll see if we'll get a relief from that, and we'll also time out when we can see our next stretch of drier and sunny weather come back to Southwest Georgia. Greg?
All right, thank you, Joe. Well, the latest inflation data out today shows that consumer prices rose 5% in May compared to the year before. That's the fastest rate since August of 2008. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Washington with more on how the increase is hitting people in their wallets.
If you're shopping for a used car or truck right now, chances are you'll be shelling out more than you usually would. Prices for them are up 7.3% from last month, driving much of the inflation gains, per a Labor Department report. Food, clothing, and airline tickets also costing more.
I look at a 40-pound case of chicken went from about $40 to $130 in 2 weeks. That's food costs you can't deal with.
Consumer prices in May rose by 5% from a year ago, the fastest pace in nearly 13 years. The report, however, unlikely to rattle the Biden administration, who sees the spikes as temporary and even a sign of the economy recovering as people return to their usual spending habits.
We're making progress, and while we're seeing some inflation, I don't believe it's permanent, but we will watch this very carefully.
Stocks opened higher on Thursday, shrugging off concerns of inflation. But many Republicans feel differently, saying the $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus package the president signed in March is overwhelming the economy.
They're doing a lot of damage to the economy. I think what's going on now and what they prescribe for the future is what will be on the ballot in November of 22.
Despite concerns of inflation, the Federal Reserve Chair says it's unlikely to raise interest rates this year, seeing higher prices as transitory. The topic likely to be a point of discussion when the Federal Reserve meets next week. In Washington, Mal Rivera, Fox News.
With Vice President Harris back from her fact-finding mission to learn more about the root causes of migration, many here in Washington are now asking,